Hi, Bill Gross, the LA probate expert, and I get asked by both real estate agents, investors, wholesalers, and even attorneys all the time, how do I get my business started? What are some of the first steps? And that's a loaded question. There's a lot to go to. But I think part of it is starting with the right philosophy that if your goal is just to get business, every business is tough. But if your goal is to learn how you can help people and then fill that void with a service or product, then you'll find business opportunities and enjoy the process of helping people along the way. And one of the people that's helped me stay centered on that, I've been along the way, is Jen Bailey, who's a marketing guru, as well as a entrepreneur in the space of helping business professionals build their business through marketing. So, hey, Jen, how you doing?
Hey, Bill, thanks for having me.
I guess it should be formal, call you Jennifer. Um, but I've known you as Jen. So give us, before we get into the marketing part, give a little background. Where'd you grow up, and then how'd you get into the marketing space?
Cool. Yeah. And Jen is perfectly fine. So either
Okay.
way, just one thing I say is not Jenny. Jennifer is good. But so I grew up in California, actually, not too far from you. And I moved to Virginia when I was still pretty young. Um, but I got into marketing right in my dorm room, right in college. I never
Wow.
went to work for anybody. I just decided that I wanted to work for myself, and I started right there. On my desktop computer for my dorm.
Wow. Where you go to college?
I went to Liberty University in
Yeah.
Virginia.
Oh yeah, I love Liberty University.
Yeah.
They have a football player, I think, who's got a lot of potential being drafted in the first round, perhaps this in the NFL. So it's
Okay.
a
I
big
don't
story for
follow. Yeah.
big upgrade for Liberty if he comes through. They're really trying to upgrade that program.
Yeah, I bet.
So marketing wise, and then how did you end up? I know that it's not your only area, but you do quite a bit of work in the real estate space and funeral home space. How did you end up in that in particular?
Yeah. So that's a good question. Actually, I really started in the funeral care space, and it's called death care industry. And I just randomly started working with a funeral home client, and it kind of changed my career altogether because it changed my mind and my methods about how I understand the relationship that marketing has with people.
Mhm.
Um, and so that started maybe 15 years ago. And then for the last few years, I've been working also in the probate space. And I worked closely with Chad Corbett, who I know you know. Um, and uh, I fell in love with it the same way that I fell in love with funeral care, because it's ultimately kind of the last responders ministry, excuse me, um, to a person's life. And so that's how I look at it.
And I think that that's what attracted me to the probate space was the opportunity that so much of the coaching and marketing was about how to kind of swoop in as a vulture on these vulnerable families and get stuff on the cheap, and it's easy. You'll make a lot of money by flipping the property and making three times the volume. And the difference I saw was the opportunity of, well, some of these people are struggling, and this is intergenerational wealth and their opportunity to get themselves on track. And if I could figure out how to help with that, then there'd be a niche there that I would feel that other people weren't even thinking about. And so I know you do the same thing. So let's talk a little bit about your marketing approach and the product that you've brought to for people who are interested in probate and probate business. Gain instant credibility with probate families. So what's the purpose of getting instant credibility?
So one of the things that I know was really effective for me early in my career was kind of building my on my authority level. And yeah, probate is a super special niche, right? It takes a lot of different knowledge and things that most real estate agents agree or disagree, may or may not know about. And so when it comes to probate specifically, this is an area that people don't just go out and say, hey, where's a probate real estate agent that can help me? No, they don't think about that. They don't look for it. But if we can help educate other people on what we do, then they might understand how you can help them. So this specific marketing product was developed for real estate agents who are on a budget, obviously, like we all are, and but that you need to be able to have some content that serves your market in a
Right.
way that's not currently being offered. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And I know you have a video here right on the front page on reclaimyourmarketing.com. And right on the front page, you go into detail, but our goal here today is to go into a little bit and for, just because I have my own interest on these things. And so one of the pieces of the marketing, or one of the centerpieces, or one of the foundational pieces, is a book. So explain to me how a book works to create instant credibility.
Okay, cool. So um, there's a couple ways that this content can serve people, and a lot of questions that I get are like, well, did you know that you can get a book on, Authorify or anywhere else? And the thing that's different about this book is it's really not a step 1, 2, 3 on how to go through probate. Okay, you can get that content anywhere, and to be frank, people who are grieving or going through a difficult process, they're not going to want to hear about that anyway. It's
Right.
probably not even going to saturate into their brains at that point. So instead, this content serves people in a little bit of a different way. Okay, it helps them with the grieving process. It gives them tools and resources. It helps them curve the conversation with their family members. How do you talk to your family members to avoid potential bad situations to go through? And so by offering this kind of content, and I know that there's a book here, and it is a physical book, but it's also a digital content piece. So
Mhm.
you can use it in any modality, across all platforms, whether it's social media, whether you're in a networking meeting, whether you're going in to the attorney's office and talking to the legal aid and handing them the book and saying, hey, I can field all those phone calls you're getting about all these different things. And so that's kind of how it serves the marketing space.
Me, yeah, I think you just hit on it. On one hand, one can mail books like this to families, or try to target families. You could read the obituaries and mail a book to people. Hey, grandma died. Here's a great book for you. That's not my approach at all. But I do think what you hit on was that we have related professionals that have to deal with families that are grieving, and this is a resource for them to give to their client, right? If you're an attorney and somebody passes and the family's in your office and they're still in a grieving process, not everybody is after a while, but some are, and it varies. And if you're an attorney, you have this resource to give, but then they also associate you as the person who's given this service to them, and you're the one who's given the service to the family. So it positions you, and you talk about credibility, it positions you as, instead of the vulture realtor preying on these innocent people, you're with them shoulder to shoulder, helping them through the process. So that seems to me, and so what you're saying is it's not just a book, but it's really more of a all-inclusive marketing piece that
Absolutely.
does, yeah.
And you really described it very well, but the main thing to understand is that you're giving them the resources that they need in this moment. So it becomes not about you as a real
Right,
estate agent. It's no longer about you. It's about them and what they are going through.
right.
And that's what really sets it apart.
I think all marketing is really ultimately should be about them, right? If you really want to move somebody, it's what they're looking for, and then you're the piece that gives it to them. But if it's about you, that's where people get off track, and it's satisfying to buy something about you, but it doesn't necessarily help. So just to go through the list of features, you have a book that I guess you can buy multiple copies of at a cost, and then you have a digital copy of the book, so you can email that out to both attorneys or professionals, as well as the link to the family if appropriate. You have a website that is focused on that. So if they're searching you, or imagine if you're linked on an attorney's website, then they're going to be introduced to you in this way. And then you have landing pages that if they're doing some marketing, and there are attorneys that do different types, that your entry point is going to be this approach, or this I don't want to say flavor, but this maybe avenue of approach in the marketing, that you're the person who understands families is going to work with them, correct? And
Yeah.
so you really position yourself from the very beginning as, this is who I am.
It is. It's definitely from the beginning, but I look at things holistically. So this follows a methodology called the buyer's journey, and you may or may not be familiar with that term, just another marketing term. But what it means is that you want to not only get people in the top of your funnel, but you also want to nurture them throughout their whole journey of
Right,
consideration,
right.
all the way to if they're making a purchasing decision or not. And so this system kind of covers down on everything from start to finish. So it includes a micro website, and I call it a micro website, not because it's not a full website, but because you can add it on to another website if you want to on a subdomain. And then it also has all the conversion methods it has the lead magnets on there. And once somebody gets into your system, they get email follow-ups, and there's a whole series of things that happen from there.
Nice.
So
So let's talk about the practitioner who wants to get into probate space. And I guess there's different angles in. I know there are people who kind of coach the family through the probate process, and that then in turn they send them to an attorney when appropriate. I think, I try to work with attorneys and try to coach them on some of the fine legal points. I'm in a bigger market than most agents, so it's a little different than most markets. And here you're doing more with the individual family, or you're empowering the vendor to help with the family. Now, as you mentioned, though, it's a long process. I mean, my experience is from the time of passing to the sale, on average, it's a couple of years. A normal seller who decides to sell, it's a couple of years. That's the statistics tell us. So how are we going to keep in contact with this person over a 2-year period or 3-year period if we're looking to build a business? Not to say we can't get deals right away, but the bulk of the business is going to come a couple of years out. So how do we stay in touch with them? You mentioned there's emails and nurturing. Is that part of the package? Is there social media posts that we were able to put in regularly?
yeah, and so this system is not a done for you system. Okay, I just want to make sure that that's clear. This is an empowerment system so that you have every tool you could need in order to market yourself, including some coaching and training included as well. And so it does come with some email follow-ups, but the content is built in such a way that it can be used for additional nurturing. And then on top of that, there's a whole series of social posts that come with it, a year's worth of social posts, and here including Facebook mastery training and some stuff like that. So I think, does that answer your question?
Yeah. And can you give me some high points maybe on the coaching training? What does that look like? Obviously, I think I met you through, kind of some mastermind groups in that space, right? Because it's an ongoing process to figure out how certain things work. Can you give me some high level points of what it might look like continuing?
Definitely. So, as of right now, what it includes is some initial training, some one-on-one mapping out your strategy. What are you going to do? Let's talk about, exactly how we're going to implement the system, and getting that pushed out. And then from there, every month you get more one-on-one coaching. There's also new trainings and coaching that comes out each month. That's group oriented. So you have the opportunity to network and talk to other people as well. And we're always innovating together. In fact, one of my members just came up with this really cool method of getting into the attorney's offices in his area that I hadn't heard been done before. And so that's something I'm going to be sharing with my members as well, so they can start implementing right away.
Nice. Okay, well, look, it's a fantastic program, and I've read the book, and I'm looking at the social media posts and such, and looking to integrate that into my business with you as well. We've been playing a little bit on the mastermind and training level as well. If somebody's interested in finding out more about this or signing up, where would we direct them to?
Thank you for asking. So reclaimyourmarketing.com is where you can find all the information. There's a button there under niches, and pick real estate. And then the coupon actually for $150 off is early bird. That's the coupon name.
Very good. And it comes with a 100% guarantee, which to me says you really stand by what you're doing. And I think that's really important that, especially in the digital product space, that people should feel confident they're getting what they expect and that they'll get the results. And Jen, I know I've worked with you for the last couple of years in marketing, and I've always been really impressed with what you've done. And so I feel very comfortable sharing this with the agents that I work with in my business.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that.
So what would you say? So I know you've been around long enough to know that it doesn't just start or end with marketing material and websites and such. That at the end of the day, a professional has to be able to convert people interested into contracts. What do you see as a key thing to focus on for an entrepreneur to be successful, taking your program and it is what it is, but then using it effectively? What should they be focused on?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually this applies whether you use my program or not, right? And that's just trying to have conversations with people at the end of the day and listening to people, building relationships with people. That's the number one thing you can do. And, marketing marketing has gotten super obnoxious. Like you can sit there and try and enjoy a good time with your family and being interrupted by these meaningless commercials about insurance every day. And at the end of the day, marketing is powerful. Like marketing can change your mind about something. So marketing is actually really important, and we shouldn't just fluff it off like it's just another commodity. What real estate agents are doing in probate is really important too. So we should treat marketing with importance, and we should treat it as a method to get a relationship with a person. So that's my philosophy.
So I've taken, on that light, I think sometimes marketing is mistakenly, telling people how good I am so that they'll think I'm great. And I think sometimes, I think really it's the opposite. Effective marketing is really being effective at supporting your customer, and that demonstrates your ability to give them the ultimate service that they want. And I've always felt that if I do a really good job helping people and showing them that I do know their problem and I have solutions for them. I don't have solutions for every situation. I'll give some for free, and then call me and I'll help you devise your own personal solution. But it's not just about talking about or looking like you're successful. It's really about being successful and being educated in this area. And like I said, I read your book and I thought it was really on point on how to keep focused on, people have challenges and we have to remember that. And as a real estate agent, I'm often talking to brother and sister, or currently brother and a ex-wife, and they had a very strained relationship. And my job is to negotiate the two of them and get the house sold for their mutual benefit. And it requires a certain sensitivity to all that. So I think your product has really helped advance that. So I appreciate it so much and look forward to continuing to play with you.
Thank you so much, Bill. Appreciate it.
Okay, so again, reclaimyourmarketing.com. And if you go up to where the niches are on top, there's the real estate niche, and that brings you to the probate product. And if you decide you want to sign up, there's a coupon code for how much off? 150 off, you said?
You know what? Yes.
Something
I
like
think,
that.
yeah,
Something.
yeah. So I could send you the link just to make sure that you have the correct.
What I love about Jen is she's really focused on making a really great product and not so much on the marketing, because if you have a great product, the marketing kind of gets its own momentum. If you spend all day long on the marketing and the click funnels and the conversions and all that, then your product is lousy, but you can spend a lot of time trying to fix it. So I appreciate that you're really focused on the
True.
quality.
Yes, and you did say, you could purchase right online, which is true. But the one thing I encourage is for you to just schedule a phone call with me so we could talk about it. If you're not sure if it's right for you or whatever, I'll point you in the right direction, whether that's my product or not. And I'm happy to
Nice.
do that.
Nice. Okay, very good. Well, Jen, thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and look forward to continuing to work together with you on this and seeing how it grows.
Sounds great. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks. Bye.